Hello. There.
Good morning.
Hello there. Good morning to you.
Good morning. Just to let y'all know, I am at the eye doctor. I will not be able to, the only thing I'm going to be able to say is like, good morning right now. So, but I will be in the meeting.
Well, that works. I hope
Okay.
you're okay.
I'm fine. Yeah, I'm fine. I just wanted to let y'all know that.
Well, I never got to ask you this, but I know that, you know, Richard had been ill. Has he fully recovered from his pneumonia?
Yes, he's here with me right now. He is doing great. Thank y'all for asking.
Good.
Okay, we'll let you do your thing. Okay.
All right.
Okie doke. Michelle, congratulations on your news.
Thank you.
That's excellent.
Thank you. Thank you.
And I love that you wrote out how we're supposed to pronounce Nyla's name, but my father actually had a secretary with that name and it was pronounced Bear, right? That's French.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah.
Yes.
Because I know that in years after knowing that, and you know, I come from a French family, it's funny how people will come up with a pronunciation of certain French names.
I'm telling you what.
South, you know, it's just funny. Well, really anywhere.
Yep, her name is Nyla Bear.
It's great. Well, how's your mother?
She's good. I'm not sure if she's joining. She was just over here a second ago. She's waiting for the tenant next door has wasps in her crawl space above the it's not really an attic, it's just like a, you know, crawl space with insulation and stuff, but there are wasps up there and they keep coming down through her fireplace. So the guy's supposed to come this morning and check on that. So she said she was going to try to get on, but she handed me the treasurer's the thing from the bank. So just in case.
Hello. Okay.
I'll do it. Thank you. How's Stephen this morning?
He's okay. You know, we're still trying to stay safe, but the doctor told us if things go okay, but I hear there's another variant coming, we could make a safe trip. If no one was in the car with us breathing the same air, we could get in the car, go down the trace. This is in April. Go down the trace and go see my sister in her store if she's wearing her mask. And we have those special lights in that office building that hospitals have for coronavirus. And she had those put in the minute the thing broke out. But she said we could go there and to the river, see the river, go to a drive-through or take out food. And so we're looking forward to that, even though it's so long away.
Yes.
So thank you for asking. Here comes Sharon.
So, Elizabeth, I know you've been paying attention to the page. Give me your thoughts before everybody chimes in, please. I would love to hear them.
Oh, listen, you have it. You need to be teaching a class on this. Whatever you did, it's really adding sparkle and interest. And it's just really taking it up 5 or 10 notches. And I am sincere with that. Very professional, but it has that razzle dazzle of this is our mission and we really believe it. And that's what I'm getting from it. So I hope that was a good review.
It really was. And thank you so much, because the thing is, it's like everybody, you know, in the class that I'm taking, their thing is, what do you want to do? And my whole thing is awareness. That's what Miss Mary says. We want awareness. And of course, yes, the fundraising part of it, but awareness. And I know for sure that the following numbers are going up. I mean, it's just so amazing. So I'm going to say to God be the glory on all of that. It had nothing to do with me. It's just I'm being instructed and I'm just doing what I'm being told to do. So I'm very excited about this.
Well, when Tanya explained what they were looking for, Michelle and I think you knew in your heart that minute, you are perfect for doing what they're doing and they needed you.
Yes, I agree.
It just was really a godsend, literally, for them.
Seriously, yeah. Because whenever I tell the story about it, I was actually had to tell the story in orientation with all the AmeriCorps kids. And Miss Mary's like, let me listen to see what she's gonna say. And I always talk about you guys. And I'm like, I was not even looking for a job. But my colleagues, my wonderful colleagues, they just made me just know that this was for me. So anyway, let me shut up now and let's get ready. Good morning, Sharon.
I think she's on mute. I was going to say it's not a job, it is a passion with you. And I know that. And Sharon was on mute. Now, Sharon,
Good morning.
good morning. So I know Tony is our speaker, correct, Michelle?
Yes.
Okay, and here he comes. There we go. Let's see. There he is. Hey, Tony.
Morning.
Hey.
Good morning, Tony.
How's everybody doing this morning?
Good.
Should we go ahead and hand the torch over to you, Tony, since you're going to be doing the thing? Let's
Sure,
see.
that's fine.
Make host. There we go. Do you want to change the host, Fran? No, I did it the wrong person. Hold on. I'm so bad at this. Okay. Make host. Yes, we want Tony to do this. And Sylvia is joining us in a minute. Hold on. Well, Tony, you're going to have to I don't think I got Sylvia in. Do you see that where she's trying to
Yes,
join?
I'm letting them in right now.
Because now I don't have that ability. So if you could
I
watch
can
that.
monitor that for the next little bit for sure.
Thank you. Well, have you started your new job? I just have to ask before we get started.
Yes, so well, I'm kind of balancing both jobs right now. So working on programming and continuing with volunteers, especially summer intern recruitment. I think they have held, I think the word is out, the recruitment has been sent out, but I'm not sure how far into the interview process it is. So I think I'll be wearing multiple hats until probably the first or second week of May.
Wow. Well, bless your heart.
That'll be all right. It keeps the work day moving steadily.
That's a good way to think about it.
I definitely, I think it was 2 days ago. I was working and I was like, all right, well, maybe I'll just take a break and walk around the building. And it was 12:45. I was like, forget that, I'm going to lunch. Thought it had only been 20 or 30 minutes, but zoom, zoom, zoom.
Well, that's what you get for being so talented, smart, and cute. That's it.
Thanks, Elizabeth. How's everybody else doing? I know I'm late to the party. I don't know if we all already shared.
Good. Happy St. Patrick's Day, everybody.
Oh my gosh. And I didn't wear green.
I did.
I'm going to have to figure that out.
Sharon did. She's wearing green.
I'm wearing olive. Does that count?
Yes.
Okay.
It does.
But my eyes are green too. And I'll say this, most of my heritage is from Ireland. So I feel like you can't pinch me in any way, shape, or form. Oh, goodness. Well, I'm going to put myself on mute, which I know y'all will be thrilled about because I'm such a chatty Cathy. Here I go.
Hey, Elizabeth, I just put the information about the bank account in the chat box. I'll also say it out loud, so it'll be on the record, but it's there in the chat box also. Well, actually, I guess Fran is here. She could give that report.
Good morning.
Good morning. Hi, Fran.
Hi, how are you? Michelle, you have the checkbook over there. I'm at my house. So if you have the account balance, that'd be great. We did send $150 per your check. I think it went out yesterday.
thank you, Fran, for that report. Good morning, everyone. So this morning, Tony will be telling us lots of important information. So we will go ahead and get started for the sake of time. Tony, we will turn it over to you. And thank you this
Hey.
morning.
Thank y'all. I'm excited to share a little bit of what we have been doing. Is that on the right screen, or I think, are y'all seeing the full screen, or are y'all seeing the half screen?
We're seeing the half screen and vision and notes.
Oh man, I know I don't have any notes, but let's see. That's not what I wanted. Murphy's Law, right? More slide options. I want to do the other screen. Display settings. Swap presenter. There we go. Yay! Well, good morning, everybody. I'm excited to kind of share a little bit about some of the online training tools that I've utilized. And 1 minute, I see a couple more people trying to get into the room. So let me let them in real quick. I'll also try to keep monitoring that as well. But I'm here to just share kind of a few of the online training tools that we kind of pivoted to and adapted to during COVID, especially I think we really started utilizing this when the Delta variant started becoming a larger threat, and we were kind of riding the waves of the pandemic, if you will. But without further ado, I'm going to kind of get into it, and I only have probably about a dozen slides to go through, so it shouldn't take long, but I'd love to kind of leave some room for like questions, but also just kind of discussion, because I'm excited to kind of hear what other people have been doing as well, or have heard about, or what have you. All right, so let's see. We are living in a virtual world now. Surprise, surprise. Since March 2020, we have all been forced to adapt to a more virtual landscape. I mean, here we are sitting in a Zoom DOVIA meeting. So it's definitely one of those things where we are doing everything that we can. But there are a lot of different applications out there that you can utilize when it comes to not only meeting, but also kind of interviewing, orientating, training, and getting your volunteers started. Just to kind of give some examples of those things. Google Docs are great. I know several of you have probably used Google Docs. Facebook Messenger rooms, just because a lot of people are on Facebook, so it's convenient if you know that everyone's going to be on Facebook. However, Zoom, like we're in right now, Microsoft Teams, if you are a Microsoft-minded individual, and of course, the tried and true Skype. Everything provides something a little bit different, and we'll kind of go into some of those. However, as the world moves forward, some of us are forced to make an attempt to grab the reins and try to hold on, especially as these applications continue to evolve and more applications are published live. So really and truly, you don't have to learn all of these applications as you're going forward. You can just kind of learn something that works for you, and then kind of make that your tried and true go-to applications. So I had some fun with these slides. Switch on, tune in, fix your camera, how's my hair, and let's begin. There's nothing more intimidating than working with new technology. I was familiar with Skype before the pandemic happened, but that was only one of several applications that were kind of budding at this time, allowing us to kind of welcome in individuals, meet remotely, whether it's with our volunteers, whether it's with our coworkers, what have you. However, the good thing about all of this is we are in the same boat, especially as applications do updates and start to push on new interfacing software. I'm not sure if anybody uses Microsoft Teams, but I know that that has changed several times over the last 2 years, and is very much kind of learning that over and over and over again. and this new virtual world that we are navigating is evolving every day. Honestly, I foresee if we're kind of having this discussion in a year, that we may be talking about completely different applications and such. So is this thing on? Where do we begin? I think the best way of learning is by giving a case study. So kind of over the next few slides, I plan on kind of detailing the various online services that has helped us here at the Department of Archives and History as we navigated volunteers and internships. I can't tell you how many countless times though, as I was working through things, I had problems with either my microphone, had problems with my video camera. I mean, heck, in some of our DOVIA meetings, I think I've had to go completely in the chat saying I'm sorry for my camera nowadays. But it's definitely kind of, like I said, utilizing, learning those applications, finding the ones that work for you and utilizing those so you don't have to go forward and using all of them. So online applications, let's kind of start there. Before COVID, MDAH had already transitioned to an online application software system. We utilize Volgistics. I know that this is not, this doesn't lend itself to everybody's use because it is a paid service. However, this allows us to build our applications online in the Volgistics system. This is an example of one of the beginning of one of our applications. And then all of the answers that the applicants make are kind of pulled and streamed into an online user profile. But this is not for everyone. This, like I said, this is a paid system. Had we not already had this in place, I was working with some smaller museums during the pandemic that were talking with me about what they were doing. And you can use just good old-fashioned Google Docs. If you've used Google Docs, you know that they are very user-friendly if you have used anything like Microsoft Word before. And just to kind of show you an example, it is straight up the Microsoft Word interface. This allows you to make the document the way you want, and it allows you to share the document with your applicants. This allows them to go in and answer, fill in the blank, do whatever they need to do to the application, and then they can email that back to you so that you can start processing that application. So reaching out to those virtual applicants, depending on your next step, you have some options. If you would like the applicant to begin answering additional questions, because again, our applications are very surface level. It's very much kind of just getting contact information, experience, work experience, references, volunteer experience, and why are you interested with the department? And we like to follow up with additional questions. You can kind of follow up with additional questions two ways. I've talked with several different museums who like sending out a survey with those more specific questions. And if you do send out a survey, I like using SurveyMonkey. It is 100% free as long as you keep it within, I think it's 10 to 15 questions. And those questions can be fill in the blank. Those questions can be short answer. Those questions can be multiple choice. You have a lot of reign when it comes to creating a survey in SurveyMonkey. However, if you're like me, I really prefer to ask these questions myself. Before the pandemic, after we received online applications, we were inviting people on site and into one of our meeting rooms and kind of having just a conversation to kind of get some of these questions answered. However, during the pandemic, that wasn't possible, bringing outside people on site. Somebody have a question? Nope. Okay. So then you get to move on to a different form of kind of interviewing, if you will. You can schedule a phone call, which is just as good as anything. I love talking to people on the phone, and especially during the pandemic, people liked being able to reach out and speak to each other on the phone. A lot of the people that were applying to be volunteers during this period had severe cabin fever at this time and were ready to get out. Or I also gave them the option, especially with college students, but I gave everyone the option, whatever age group, whatever background, if they wanted to do a video call. And this is my last attempt at a joke. I found this image a while back is what video calls might have looked like in the 1950s. So this is what I always think of when I think of a video call. But it's definitely one of those situations where I kind of left it up to them how they wanted to proceed with the next round of questioning and learning more about the duties for the volunteers in our location. So welcome to your first day remotely. How does your training process work now? The way our process works is we go over our handbook. We ask questions that the group can answer aloud. Usually when we orientate to a site, I try to bring on several applicants at one time and allow them to kind of work through the handbook together. And then we also allow a Q&A afterwards. This can easily lend itself to going to an online format. If people have the capability to answer, to use videos and such online, you can use Zoom, you can use Teams, you can use Skype. We used Zoom and we were able to share different PowerPoints and such. And we were able to invite various individuals into our virtual orientations. So where to begin? We're all conducting trainings. Making it virtual is no different. With our museums, like I said, we were going over the handbook together, and I was inviting various people at the site level to kind of come on and share. In the previous slide, you saw our visitor experience coordinator, Justin Ellis. Justin would usually come in and share the basics of the two Mississippi museums, which you can see one of those several slides here. Hours, volunteer benefits. He would go over how to schedule yourself online and just some simple how-tos and such. And then we would invite one of our museum representatives, usually somebody in education, to kind of speak more about the stories that are going on in the museums, how we're telling those stories, and how volunteers and ambassadors can jump into the process of sharing those stories together. So if you're able to do this live, it's great. You're able to sit in a video chat room and kind of talk about all these things, go through the handbook together, ask these questions. But what we learned was we were able to get a good group of people who were wanting to volunteer on the weekends, and we're not able to always reach a orientation session. So that's when we began kind of pre-recording targeted orientation sessions. The best example that I can give of that is we did an online orientation session for Jackson State University students because I think they had about 24 people who were interested, but they all had different schedules. So Justin and I went on and kind of did our whole spiel that we usually do. It's just we did it without an audience. And the best way to describe that is it was very much like the children's cartoon Dora the Explorer. Now, I know everybody here hasn't watched Dora the Explorer, but one of the things that she does is she asks questions to the children and audience and then pauses, and there's complete dead air and allows the children to respond to the camera. This seems really silly, but we were doing that. Justin and I would kind of pose a question and give them time and kind of think of that answer to themselves, and then we would go over the answer to those questions. We tested it out, like I said, with college students to see how it went, and we found out very quickly on their first days that a lot of the college students really liked the process. Some of them told us that they were way too old for this, but when we were following up and kind of quizzing them on some of the answers, they were able to answer them right off their heads quickly because they remembered how we were posing those questions to them. And we were also able to provide customer service role plays. So because I had another person on camera with me, Justin and I would go through just some different instances of what if you have a unruly guest, or what if you have a guest who hurts themselves on site, and kind of walk through the different processes that would occur for when you're volunteering. And then there's reinforcing that new info. After they completed the orientation, we asked them to, I think in the video, we asked them to email us and then answer 2 specific questions that we didn't write anywhere in the email. They were just in the video. So that would prove to us that they completed the video training. And then on their first day, they would meet with staff. They would meet me. They would meet Justin Ellis, the the visitor experience coordinator. They would meet museum staff, and then we would allow them to explore on their own. So that first day is really kind of getting to know the museum spaces, especially since they've only been able to see everything through a video screen. So I think we usually gave them between 2 and 3 hours to explore the Museum of Mississippi History and the Mississippi Civil Rights Museum. We gave them gallery guides, we gave them maps, and then we set a time to kind of debrief on their experience at the end. It was usually a quick 20 minutes of what you think of the space, how did you find wayfinding, do you have any questions about what you're expecting? And then we kind of started off with baby steps. Now, again, this reinforcing of new info takes a bit longer in the training process than if you just bring somebody in normally, but in a normal way. But by doing this and reinforcing everything, reinforcing logging in, logging out, the different positions such as welcome ambassadors and gallery guides, and really kind of allowing them to learn on their own and ask questions for them that would benefit their experience. And then finally, we would always schedule a first month recap to kind of meet with each of the volunteers individually and just see how they're doing. See if there's anything that maybe was in training that they forgot that they maybe haven't utilized, or if there's anything that they have been experiencing that we had missed in any of our online training processes. And in some cases, there were a couple of volunteers who were like, hey, yeah, we've experienced this sort of situation and it wasn't covered in any of the online guides. Luckily, we have museum staff there and they were able to get those answers quickly. But this allowed Justin and I to go back to the drawing board and kind of rethink those online orientations. So the benefits, having a pre-recorded training session can allow you to reach wider audiences. We were able to send out some of these pre-recorded orientation sessions to students who were at the University of Mississippi or Mississippi State in Oxford and Starkville, respectively. They were able to complete all of the training sessions on their end. And then when it came time for spring break or Christmas break, they were able to start volunteering day one and able to utilize their entire holiday break with us. They're able to complete this training in their own time. Like I said, we had several individuals who were interested in volunteering on the weekends, and they worked a 9-to-5 job during the week, Monday through Friday. So our normal orientation sessions that we would schedule, they wouldn't be able to meet and kind of come to as a group. We not only held some of these pre-recorded sessions, but also with permission of the department, we held some after hours live orientation sessions through Teams and Zoom. And that allowed us to kind of meet with some people that were living in Jackson, Ridgeland, and Madison, and let them meet other individuals who were wanting to start volunteering as well. And these would be individuals that would more than likely be serving on the same shifts as them, since they were wanting to serve on the weekends. So that was really a nice way to kind of build camaraderie before you're even coming on site for that first time. We were able to send these out to service organizations. Whenever we were able to pre-record an orientation session, we were able to send it out. I know specifically to Jackson State students, Holmes County Community College students, and also to an AmeriCorps group, so that they had an idea of what they were getting at. This allowed them to kind of watch it together, work through all the questions, work through the handbooks, and learn about the site together. And then when they set foot on the site for the first time, they had a good understanding of what was going on. And like I said, it was able to train larger groups at once. We are still utilizing doing live orientation sessions. We don't really do pre-recorded as much anymore unless we have some people that are interested in volunteering and just the orientation times don't work out as well. But we're able to bring in applicants over probably a 2-week period and have them all log in at the same time, begin meeting each other, begin working to learn more about the site. And then as they start working together, like I said, they're recognizing some of these volunteers that they went through these orientation sessions with. Excuse me. This is also able for us to fix volunteers up faster to get them in place more efficiently. I know before COVID, the system took maybe a couple of weeks before they were able to actually get on site. So if you were able to apply online, you had to wait for a orientation day to come on site and kind of get to know me or get to know the HR staff. And then after that, we would arrange for you to go to the site level and have a site orientation. That's 3 different on-site meetings before you're actually volunteering. So by doing everything online, we were able to kind of streamline the process. Instead of having separate meetings, we were able to have various individuals across the department log on at the same time. And really and truly, after completing the application, all you had to do was come to one of these scheduled Zoom sessions or receive the pre-recorded Zoom session and have some follow-up interviews with us through email or phone call. And then this also allowed us to have new volunteers recruit friends and family. So really and truly, a lot of volunteers that started recruiting friends and family, it took them several weeks before they kind of recommended them to come on site and kind of apply to work with us. By sending everything out digitally, they were able to share these resources with their friends and kind of let them know, hey, this is what I'm about to start doing. I'm really interested in. And within maybe a few volunteer sessions on site, we were having their friends reach out going, hey, I want to apply and I'd like to do these orientations and get started. So really, it did streamline the process and it was able to have us get people on site a little bit faster. Oh, I had another slide there. I forgot about it. But yeah, recruitment. It was very much kind of speeding up the recruitment process, especially when it came to targeted recruitment of individuals that volunteers were speaking to. Drawbacks. There's always drawbacks. It's a less formal getting to know you phase. I'm very much a talker. I like to have personal communication. I like to get to know somebody. And really and truly, when you're doing it through a survey or you're doing it through a online Zoom session, it's not a very personal getting to know you. But this can be countered by planning those additional check-ins during the volunteer's first week and month. Like I said, when people are volunteering that first week, we usually have at least 3 different staff members meeting with them, getting to know them, even if it's not their first week. During those first three volunteer sessions, we're trying to introduce them to 3 different individuals so that they get to know people more. And then having that really formal check-in at the end of their first month and asking them how they're doing, what we can do to make it better, what are they enjoying, what do they think we can improve on, is definitely something that we were able to incorporate. The orientation videos can be kind of cheesy. Like I said, if I'm using the Dora the Explorer method, where I'm posing a question such as, flip to your handbook. Once you start reading through the rules and regulations, who can tell me what the guidelines are for volunteer dress? And then myself, Justin, Chris, what have you, would just stare at the camera and leave time for them to look through their handbooks. There would be an awkward silence. And then we would be like, so if you see on page 5, halfway down, you'll see that volunteers can wear blank. And it was very much kind of cheesy, but again, we felt it worked with a younger audience. And with some applicants fall through the cracks after the orientation video. We were definitely seeing maybe a good 15 to 20% of applicants that we were sending out group orientation videos, such as to JSU students or other service organizations, we wouldn't be receiving complete feedback from everybody. However, this can be countered by just making simple phone calls and kind of reaching out to them and making a personal connection and really trying to be like, hey, we see that you didn't follow up with it. Did your schedule change? Were the videos not clear, what have you? So there is a little bit of extra legwork there. But in the end, it's totally worth it. We've been able to reach a younger audience. We've been able to reach wider organizations. As volunteers learn technology, so too are they excited about completing our process. I know that we've been getting some more experienced individuals that are learning the online process, and they are getting to know Zoom. And I'll tell you this much, I've offered them to do it through phone call. I've offered to do orientations with them on their first day. But one of the things that we've gotten good feedback on is some of our orientation online orientation sessions have been a great way for our volunteers to learn how to operate Zoom and how to learn how to operate SurveyMonkey. So I feel like we're killing two birds with one stone and helping some of our individuals move into this virtual world. And all along the way, we were willing to try things. We would try one form of an orientation, and if it didn't work, we would completely scrap the video and start fresh and rework it. And each time has paid off. We've learned more and more about the process. We've learned more and more about how to ask questions that we would normally ask in a room facing the individual. We would ask them in a different way while they're sitting at home with just their handbook and their computer screen, getting to know them. Because all in all, again, the biggest thing that I think about volunteering is you need to make a personal connection with your volunteers. You need to make them feel that they are very important in our eyes, which they are. We need to make them feel valued, and we need to show them all of the tools so that they can succeed when they get on site. So we've had to do a lot of extra work here and there, but it has been paying off. And we have been seeing some different and varying faces around here. So that's it for me. I know that was kind of a short kind of process, and I kind of threw a bunch of different things out and had some fun different images to represent volunteering. But my biggest thing is I kind of wanted to now open the floor for questions, so you can have specific questions that you have. But I'd also like to hear from everybody else. What methods have you been using, or what methods have you heard about while we have been switching to this digital era? I'm going to take a sip of coffee because my allergies decided to hit this morning, and I've got some fun sinus drainage going on. So with that, I open the floor to whoever is interested.
I just want to say kudos to Tony. I think you did a great job thinking on your feet. And good for you. That is a whole lot of work. And I know they all appreciated what you did. And I do have a question though.
Yeah.
It's great that you've been able to streamline things so it's they're able to self-screen, because when you have all the multiple meetings, it's usually to help screen. But because you do that, has it been difficult in this way? I know sometimes volunteers, they're good for an organization, but sometimes the organization may be better for them. And so I wondered if down the road, after they have self-screened and they think they're a match and you're in there, have you had as much difficulty making it known that they may not be a match after they're already in it and coming and thinking they're a great match?
For sure. That is a great question. And I have had a great experience working with specifically Justin Ellis in our visitor experience. He has been really willing to go above and beyond since we've been doing this self-screening process and allow volunteers to kind of learn more and make mistakes and kind of learn more about them. he has been able to really and truly kind of, as they're working those first few weeks, learn to see if there may be a section that is better for them than another section. And we have been able to also, during that 1 month meeting, kind of work to see if there is a more a better position for them if it's not quite working out with these front of house roles. This is all targeting volunteers to enter a front of house position. And luckily, when we are bringing them in during this time, we had not had the numbers of guests that we were having before. So we were able to do a lot more trial and error than we have in the past, and able to take a breath and kind of have some learning moments and education moments to kind of work with them one-on-one. But like you said, there have been some situations where they just were not a fit. But I was able to keep them in the system, and we did have a few various online targeted data management, data entry positions. We had some various organizations that had reached out to us to do some transcriptions of various papers and such. And really and truly, we probably had about 4 to 6 individuals that just front of house wasn't for them. However, we were very fortunate enough to have some behind the scenes work on your own time at your place kind of thing. And they were able to really pick up with that and run with it. But like I said, I have been very fortunate in the fact that the museum staff, because they were not as busy as they have been in the past, were able to grant a little more patience and able to say, hey, let's have an education moment. That's not how we do things around here. Let's see if we can learn from that, and let's see if we can go forward. And luckily enough, because we weren't busy, because we were able to kind of take the time, we had some individuals who maybe in the past wouldn't have been able to receive the extra handholding due to the vast numbers of individuals beginning in the museums. And it would have been something where we would have maybe pivoted them to another location until we had time to kind of give them the time in that original location. But because we had the time and effort, we were able to give them one-on-one work and work with them to kind of learn a little bit more. And out of that 4 to 6, I think 3 were able to actually come back into the museums and have been doing great.
Kudos to you.
Great
I'll say this,
presentation.
the one thing I want to say after this is, like I've said before, I started this role in December of 2019, and Elizabeth left me some great handbooks, some great how-tos, and some great step-by-step information to kind of get into this role. But unfortunately, on March 13th, all of the information that Elizabeth had left me became very obsolete. And when I was working from home, just questioning, oh my gosh, what have I done? I don't know what I'm doing. I started reaching out just to local museums in the state and other museums in the Southeast. Now, again, I know I've specifically spoke to museums, and that is not the same as what everybody is working with here. But I was able to reach out to different individuals, not only in Jackson, but also across the state and across the Southeast. And we were able to just kind of brainstorm different ideas together. A lot of the stuff that we were able to try, other locations were not able to try just because their volunteer coordinator was wearing several hats and there just wasn't enough time in the day. I was very fortunate that we had completely put in a pause on internships for that first 9 months, just because that was from the universities. They said that they wanted to regroup and see. That was March. I think we didn't take a intern until later that fall, August or September. So maybe not 9 months, but probably about 6 months. So that allowed us to completely stop thinking about interns for a second and figure out what we could do, not only for our in-system trained up volunteers, but also to recruit more.
Well, that's just wonderful. Thank you so much for the presentation. For the sake of time, everybody give them a hand clap. For the sake of time, I just wanted every entity to be able to talk about what's coming up, because people are so excited about getting out that people are actually wanting to volunteer.
Yeah, it's great.
So I will start, Stacey, with what's actually coming up. Tony, great job. You always do such a magnificent job, and definitely give us ideas as to how we could improve in the whole process as well. So thank you so much for that as well. For the Mississippi Children's Museum, I have a youth summit, or the organization have a youth summit that's coming up. Let me know, guys, if you all are interested in actually participating to showcase your organization's product or service that you're offering. And I can definitely reserve space for you if you are interested. And I can resend information out to Michelle, and she could basically share that with the organization. But the summit is focusing on our high school students, and the whole focus is on leadership, career, and college prep. We also really going to be incorporating in our breakout sessions some awareness opportunities to get information regarding mental wellness and everything that's been going on with that situation with our youth. So if you're interested even in participating in the breakout session as well, where the students can actually rotate in and out every 35-40 minutes for you to highlight a particular topic based on what I just shared. So you guys just let me know, and I'll make sure I get you the information. We're very excited. This is our very first one, so I would love to have our DOVIA partners be a part of this as well to showcase your organization. So always just let me know. Jamie, thank you so much for that. I'll definitely get you the information as well, and anyone else that's basically interested. Guys, believe it or not, this spring break, we have been very busy, as Stacey alluded to. People want to get out. They want to do things more. Our park has been such a huge hit. I mean, even during the drizzling rain, it's packed, guys. So we're really excited about that partnership with the museum district partners as well, and how that has really tremendously been a success as well. Buttons and Butterflies coming up at the end of April after the youth summit. So that's always a big opportunity for our guests as well. But other than that, those couple of things, it's what I've definitely wanted to share with you guys as well.
Thank you so much, Sharon. Miss Mary, are you on the line? Are you on the call? Okay. You want to go ahead and share what's going on at MTK?
Well, we had a little bit of a setback too. We had a fire. It wasn't in our building, but it was in a building attached to our building. And we were basically flooded and had a huge amount of smoke damage. And so we've spent a lot of time the last few weeks cleaning up. That has been and this building still smells like smoke when you come in, and there's a layer of smoke, of ashes still all over the building, because we're getting the carpet replaced and some stuff. But as far as the next thing, as far as an event goes that we have coming up, is the last Saturday in June. There is a tomato festival in Crystal Springs. It's every year, the last Saturday in June. But we have our foundation, Mississippi's Toughest Kids Camp Kamasa, has a car show in connection with that, and it's free to the public. And we have some fabulous antique cars, trucks, tractors, things that are entered in it. We had 125 last year, so it's growing. And so if anyone knows anybody that would like to submit a vehicle, that would be great. And I loved what all I was learning from Tony, and I'm sure Stacey was taking plenty of notes too. But we don't have a video that shows that's for volunteers. And we're going to start working on that. I love that idea. And it's just something we've never thought about. So that will be our next big project, just get that video in place so that we can share it with people that are already volunteered and going to. We do have a volunteer appreciation day coming up, though, the end of this month. And we're going to take them out to the campsite and show them what's going on out there and talk to them and then treat them to lunch. So we are fixing to do something with our volunteers, but there's a lot more we could be doing. And I appreciate so much everything that Tony shared today.
Maybe we'll start with our AmeriCorps team. So great idea.
Great idea. Great group of people.
Yeah. All right. Thank you so much, Miss Mary. And there's also a donor appreciation coming up April 8th. I do believe. So thank you so much, Miss Mary. I think I saw Miss Sylvia on the line. Do you want to tell us what's going on at your place?
Yes, I'm really excited. I did not get invited to the board meeting with Cary Christian Center, but I didn't need to. They approved for me to come. They've reopened the center. I have 25 little children running to the camera. They only have one laptop, but I have a donor who gave some money, and we're meeting today with my board meeting with Precious Children's Smuggle Mission to hopefully give that center some laptops so that we can have, instead of one little 4-year-old or 8-year-old at the edge of the camera pushing buttons with one little laptop, maybe we can get it really up and going. I'm really excited about that. So.
Yay. I'm so glad that you're back and excited about it. I can see it all in your face.
Thank you.
Okay. Krista, do you want to let us know what's going on? Or Jamie, which one of y'all want to go first?
I'll go first. Since I already turned on my mic. Hi, everybody. And Tony, that was a great presentation. It gave me some good ideas to at least share out there. I think that Michelle has sent out the slate of award recipients for the GIF Awards. You have not done that. Okay. All right. I did send you the press release, right? Yes, no, okay. Anyway, okay, that's all right. Anyway, we have 10 wonderful award recipients this year. And we're going to have kind of a different celebration this year. We're not having a luncheon. As you know, last year we had to have a very small event with social distancing. This year it's getting a little bit bigger. And it'll be a reception kind of in the evening at the Ivy over in Flowood. And it's got an outdoor venue where we're gradually getting back, and we're hoping to get back to our big luncheon venue next year. But for now, we're kind of gradually going in that direction. So Michelle, I apologize. I will send the press release out to you so you can let folks know. We have wonderful recipients from all over the state, and we have one right here, James Davis. I'm not sure if any of you have heard of him. He is a coach for inner city kids in South Jackson and has started some wonderful programs for them for the last 2 years and just growing sports programs for kids, and it's just wonderful mentoring. And anyway, so I'm really excited about him. But that's all the news that's fit to print. And Sharon, I am going to ask our AmeriCorps side of the house if they want to have a booth there for those high school students to take a look at, if AmeriCorps is right for them. And I'll bet the NCCC campus would love to have a booth too, if they haven't asked you already. So
absolutely, I welcome that. Absolutely, because I think had sent the original invite to Tamika, but I'll make sure, Krista, that I send you that information as well, and we will welcome them. Absolutely.
all right.
And definitely, Sharon, don't forget, I will have the booth, but also the AmeriCorps team that we have will have a booth set up for their recruitment as well. So
Right,
I just don't want you to forget that.
Well, I'm going to say, I'm gonna make sure that I send you the link too, so you can go on and register, because as the registrations are coming in, we're placing those particular organizations throughout where we're gonna have them set up as well, okay?
Okay, because I haven't seen anything as far as signing up, as far as that particular thing. But thank you so much. And thank you so much, Krista. Jamie, do you want to tell us a little something about what you're doing?
So this is not hot off the press yet, but it will be after this meeting. So you get to find out about it first. The Central Mississippi Volunteer Recognition Ceremony is going to be on April 20th, and nominations, we will start accepting those today. So all of that will be going out in an email later today with information about the different awards that we're going to have, and we need nominations. So there are 5 different categories, and then that you can nominate people for. And then there's also just a category for anyone who has served over 50 hours as a volunteer at your organization will automatically be honored if you submit their information to us. So be on the lookout for that. And I can send that to you, Michelle, as well, that you can send out in the DOVIA circle if that is possible.
Oh, wow. This is good stuff. Thank you so much, Jamie. Ms. Brown?
I think she was saying that her camera and audio was cutting in and out. Did I read that right?
Okay. All right.
Yeah,
Well, if you want to put
she
in the
did put in
chat,
the chat.
what's going on at your place, if you like.
She said, just want to add April is Sexual Assault Awareness Month at the center, and we will have a walk a mile event. And Tony, we want you to put on your heels and take a picture or video walking around in heels. Also, Start Believing is April 6th, and Denim Day is April 27th. And I said that I would start looking for heels in my size.
That sounds great. I can't wait to see this. This is going to be wonderful.
I do have one quick thing to share, if that's all right. So we are working right now on our upcoming Mississippi Makers Fest at the Department of Archives and History for May 7th, 2022. It's going to be a 10 a.m. to 10 p.m. event out in front of the 2 Mississippi museums on the lawn. We're going to have live music. We're going to be having a Makers Fest celebrating Mississippi crafters from around the state, and having different booths set up so that you can see their crafts and learn more about it. We're going to have several children's stations where you can bring your children to do some hands-on making crafts. And like I said, there's just going to be music from throughout the day. We're going to have food trucks set up, and just a whole lot of celebration of the talent that Mississippians have and can share with the public. And this is our first big festival like this, so we're not quite sure how many people we're expecting, but I think they're hoping for a few thousand individuals. So I know that I'll have my work cut out for me, because I know one of my final projects will be rallying the volunteers for this event, and hopefully by then they'll have somebody hired for my position, and we'll be baptizing them by fire with a giant festival.
Stacy, I have one question for you. Uh-oh, is she still here?
Stacy, I just saw Stacy's window pop away. I think she
Okay.
must have left.
Well, maybe Mary can answer this. The AmeriCorps team you have working there, is that from the NCCC campus?
I'm sorry, from the what?
The campus
AmeriCorps?
Vicksburg, is that the AmeriCorps team you have? You got an NCCC team. Wonderful. Okay.
Uh-huh. And I've just been so impressed with AmeriCorps. I think in my mind, before they started, I viewed them as volunteers that I have had in the past that were really young, that tended to be on their phones. These kids aren't. They work so hard and they've helped us so much. This is the second group we've had.
Great, thank you. That's what I thought. There are a lot of different AmeriCorps programs in the state. And so when she said the AmeriCorps folks, I just was wondering exactly who they were. And I figured they were an NCCC team. So that's great. Thank you.
We're close enough that they come during the day and then they go back to Vicksburg at night. So we don't.
Thank you, Mary.
Uh-huh.
Well, I just want to thank Tony again for the great presentation. This is Elizabeth, and I'm sorry that Stacy could not stay with us. And
I got booted out. I'm
oh,
sorry.
there she is.
I just want to tell everybody I'm sorry.
Well, it's good to see everybody.
Yeah. Oh, goodness. Well, I don't know if you can still hear us, Stacy. Does this wind our meeting up?
Yes, and we'll see everybody next meeting at Camp Kamasa.
Yay!
Okay.
Yay!
Well, thank you. And
Thank you.
y'all take care.
All right.
Okay.
Have a good day.
St. Patrick's Day. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.